Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and your studies are going in full swing. So the CA Institute has released the November 2026 RTPs for the CA final exams, and like every time there's a lot of confusion on and a lot of questions on what is there in these RTPs. Do we need to cover them? What are the new things? Are there any amendments? So this is a video which will give you a quick update for your CA Final FR and AFM. Along with that, be rest assured there will be a detailed video covering all the new questions, all the new concepts, amendments on in these RTPs. However, before you kind of hear and kind of get a little carried away with some bit of confusion, I just want to clear the air and just be very clear and frank on what is there in this RTP and how should that affect your preparation. So, are there a few new things? Well, to be honest, in these are the new questions that I've kind of put in. Some of them are quite easily manageable. Some of them required a bit of more work. But there are new questions. This RTP definitely requires some bit of your time. Now, when you look at financial reporting RTP, at the beginning of the RTP, there is a big section of amendments. Now, when you see amendments, that kind of, and especially a big section, if you see your financial reporting RTP, there's a fairly big section which is there at the beginning. However, this is exactly the same, cut, copy, paste, exactly the same as your May 26, and we will kind of cover it if required along with the November 26 RTP. However, if you want to kind of refer that, I'll just give you the link for the May 26 RTP video, where in the beginning, I think the first half an hour or so, we have discussed about these amendments. So just try to kind of cover it from there if it is not already done. Can these amendments come in the exam? Well, possible. Like for example, in this RTP itself, on the amendment of foreign exchange, which was on lack of exchangeability, the institute has formulated a question. I think it is question 13 or so, where they've formulated a question. So definitely it is testable material. Now there was also an amendment of Ind AS 1. A question was there that will that amendment of that loan where there's a breach of material terms, which if the waiver is after the balance sheet date would become usually non-current under the old regime, will become current under the new regime. So what will be applicable? There is no further clarification over here. So essentially, if it comes in the exam, what you have to do is, if you have covered that amendment for the November 26 student, you have to look at the year end. In all likelihood, your year end would be 31st March 26, in which case your old provisions continue to apply, in which case it is a non-adjusting event, that is a non-current liability. Sorry, it will be an adjusting event, which is a non-current liability. However, if you go into a question where they can ask you an additional thing, that will your answer change if the year ending was 31st March 27, then we would say yes, at 31st March 27, this will be a current liability, it will become a non-adjusting event. We will discuss this in detail along with the RTP video, but in case you have already done this and you have this air of confusion, you will follow the provision depending on what the year end comes in the exam. In all likelihood, it will be 31st March 26 only. So other than that, the amendments remain same as the May 26, and there is absolutely zero changes. So in terms of the amendment section, you don't have to worry. You just cover it from the May 26 video, unless if you have not done already, and there is no other change. There are a few good questions, especially questions on financial instruments, even this lack of exchangeability, and in a few questions. So you would want to kind of go through these descriptive ones. Then comes AFM. Now AFM, we after the Jan and May 26 papers, everyone was kind of looking for in what direction does the institute go, and in this RTP it has been a mix. So there have been questions which are similar, a lot of them are similar to what is there in your study material, like the questions pertaining to capital budgeting, security valuation. A lot of them have been similar, but there are notable differences as well. There are a few new questions, but two notable points that come over here is on derivatives. They've asked a question in option valuation which has a replicating portfolio as well. Now we have replicating portfolio in our shield as well, but usually institute in study material ask you questions pertaining to risk neutral as well as the risk less hedge, that is a binomial approach only. But now they've even asked you a particular adjustment regarding a replicating portfolio approach, so might as well, it is better if we cover that. And there is a detailed question on I think RSI as a measure, relative strength index, RSI as a measure. Now it seems to be in a way indicative of the fact that they might ask a question or so, which may be different. Like in this entire RTP, I would say the entire RTP is not like the May 26 paper, but there are a couple of areas which require a bit of attention. And to be honest, in the main exams, we are absolutely fine. We would be prepared and rest assured, maybe for a question or two. Like even in the AI questions video that we released in 3 parts, you should refer that. And in security analysis, we have tried to spend more than an hour just to discuss the various charts, techniques, etc. And one of the technical analysis over here pertaining to relative strength index, which is a completely different question. In the study model, there's a small paragraph and they've made a question out of it. But remember, this is one out of the entire RTP. Let us not take that as indicative of the entire paper. Yes, in the paper there can be a question or two here or there, and we have tried to put in our effort. So let that not kind of dictate our preparation. So I've been seeing a lot of students mentioning that, sir, there is a relative strength index, there is, yes, I agree, but you also look at, there are another 12, 13 questions, right? So you have to give yourself certain positive momentum and thoughts. And well, it's a final CA paper. Yes, relative strength index, there should have been a numerical, there should have been more description in the study material, but let us say we have what we have. We will try to definitely practice it, prepare it, and we'll try our best to cover as much as possible. Now, beyond that, everyone will face their share of challenges. So let us not base or panic based on 1 or 2 questions in the RTP, depending on our entire preparation. Just remember that majority of the RTP is something that you will be still able to solve. Maybe there is 1 or 2 questions where you will probably have to rack your brains and understand a little more. But well, you know what? You have another 2 months, and hence you don't really base or don't get a little pessimistic just looking at a question or two. Are there new questions? Yes. Have there been new questions in almost every other RTP in the past? Yes, especially for FR. And hence, this does not on its own mean that your paper will be something else. Now, your MCQs over here, you don't have marks, but your MCQs, the way they have given over here, is similar to the MCQs that have come in the earlier RTPs. However, now it is likely that there will be 1 mark questions as well. So we will see what needs to be done separately for that. But as long as your core content is under control, whether your MCQ comes for 1 mark or 2 marks, in fact, if it comes for 1 mark, it will have relatively lesser complexity. So you don't really need to kind of panic beyond that. Just keep on holding to what you have been doing, and I'm sure your preparations are going to bear fruit. You are going to get your result as it is desired, and we are always here to help you, support you. And for that, we will also be sharing a detailed video on the RTPs of both of these subjects in the upcoming few days. And other than that, there'll be a lot of revision videos also that you can refer. But irrespective of that, ensure that now that you are stepping up into the last 2 months, these are the most crucial months for the preparation. And if you kind of put your energy in the right place, ensure that you kind of give the best that you have. Whatever has happened in the past has already happened. These 2 months are there in front of you, and if you use them well, there is no one who can stop you from getting your coveted prefix. So that's it for right now. I'll see you soon with more videos. Till then, keep smiling, keep studying, and the CA prefix is nearby. Keep on your hard work. Goodbye and take care.